The narrative that men have everything they could ever need is laid out at their feet. I think I started to notice that that was not true when I started volunteering. It'll be 4 years now that I've been doing harm reduction work, and it's very low barrier. The majority of the folks we serve, probably a good 70 to 80% are men. A lot of veterans, a lot of men had worked in the trades work and been injured, either construction, road work, any sort of like skilled labor. A lot of that work, there's a zero tolerance policy for like drugs and alcohol, which can be a good thing. But what needs to go along with policies like that is kind of an open door to allow folks to talk about struggles they're having with substances and having a conversation around wanting to go to treatment or, wanting help with reducing their use. A lot of them are using substances for that type of work, either to go these really long days where they need a lot of physical stamina. Amphetamines are used a lot for that. And then when it comes to injuries, there's a prevalence to use opioids, for pain relief. I do think that doctors are being much more careful about prescribing, but oftentimes I do think that we are not good at managing pain, for people, or allowing people to have enough time to recover. So they're thrust back into work, when they haven't fully recovered. So then also meeting a lot of men who have been formerly incarcerated. A lot of really sad stories. Prison not at all being a place for healing or gaining new tools. And in fact, so many have shared with me about coming out of prison worse, with like more trauma. And then I've been seeing a lot of younger people on the street too. Could be lack of purpose, broken homes. A lot of kids from the foster system end up on the street when they age out if they haven't been adopted. I know Washington has also dealt with fentanyl, like that. I think Washington and Oregon are fairly similar in terms of it just being widely available, incredibly potent. Fentanyl entering into the streets has been just like really, really devastating. A lot of people want to place blame, where we have to be able to blame someone for this problem. And the finger often gets pointed at folks who work in harm reduction because there is this narrative that we are enabling people. We're enabling, and we are not, getting people into treatment enough. And we don't preach about treatment at all, but we absolutely are a point of contact for people because we build trust with the folks we serve. Like we come to them in a non-judgmental way, showing that you care about whether they live or die, helps build trust. A friend of mine has a saying, you'll never get someone's truth unless you build trust first. I answer the phone line for the organization I volunteer with, and I get calls all the time about, hey, can someone in your organization see if there's a detox bed open with today or tomorrow? And then I would also say that you can't force anyone to get clean. You can't force anyone to get sober. I say this as someone with lived experience. There's this saying, like, they have to be ready, And I think back at my own experience. So I've been uh, sober from alcohol and cocaine, meth, opioids for 9 years. um, the last couple of years of that were I would get a couple of months sober and then relapse. It was kind of this cycle, where I relapsed quite a few times. I can't say that there was anything different about the last time necessarily. I just stuck with it. I think I was done fighting it. So I think that harm reduction workers kind of understand that. We're going to continue showing up for people so that we can be there if someone wants to come up to us and they don't want to live on the streets anymore. They want to try something different.
Many people would find it scary and intimidating to approach individuals like that on the street. Was that how you felt when you first got involved?
No. Mm-mm. No. There is kind of a power dynamic there that I think is important to name. When we are going out, we have supplies that people very much need and they want clean syringes, they want sharps containers, they want wound care. I find that people are incredibly gracious. I hear the word thank you all the time. And yeah, we have Narcan too. So everyone asks for Narcan. They're using it all the time. I think there is this story that, especially people that are on drugs, living on the streets, that they're unreachable, like that they're so far gone. If you start interacting with people living outside, um, it's amazing how many times someone could be in kind of a state of psychosis, or maybe they haven't slept for a couple of days, but I'm still able to carry on enough of a conversation that I can see that they're still very much reachable. I can have a conversation with them where they're talking about what's going on in their life, and ask me questions about mine too. I think it helps to not assume that I know what people need. So, asking what people's preferences are. Oftentimes, homeless people, especially I think for men, um, they should just be grateful for whatever handouts they get, you know. And the reality is that everyone has personal preferences. Everyone has their favorite foods, um, favorite colors. For instance, we tend to have a table that has socks, cold weather gear. Um, Sometimes we'll get flashlights and they come in all these colors. I think it makes a huge difference to not just hand someone something, but to ask, well, what one would you like today? And they'll be like, oh, orange is my favorite color, and yeah, like that right there is giving someone a little bit of dignity, recognizing that like they're worthy of having a say, even if they only have a backpack on their back.